CE is removed, which we believe will be soon after our annual report is published, which the accountants are already working on it to get it ready. We hope that we're going to submit everything to the auditors by the end of the month. So by February, it's likely we're going to file the report if the auditors sign off on it. So the reason why we do it now ahead of time is so that we have space to clear what needs to be cleared and then get the CE removed so that we could then implement our business plan as articulated in our S1. So that's it about the recent sale of Alpha Ridge to Nikki. It does not diminish the value of Give Me Power, and it does not increase the value of Nikki. So it's a win-win, and it's a kind of a wash because by giving Nikki Alpha Ridge Capital, Give Me Power regained independence and is now a standalone company. It's not a subsidiary of anybody again. So it worked out fantastically for both entities. So apart from that, they will continue in their business lines. But Nikki now, Video River Networks now have to now host more subsidiary than it used to before. Before it was Give Me Power that have the subsidiaries, and Video River only have the electric vehicle subsidiary, electric vehicle and battery technology subsidiary, and then the recently established Titan Metaverse, which is in the market making acquisitions. So with this now, Video River Networks is going to still have like the electric vehicle subsidiary is there, the Titan Metaverse is there, and they're still going to have maybe additional 1 or 2 subsidiaries to accommodate or to hold assets in real estate and other fintech related industries. So with that said, that's about it for what happened. So going forward, Nikki will move as it's moving. This year, Nikki will focus more on acquisitions, basically, and consolidation of those acquisitions. We've actually done some that you'll be going to hear about very soon. And Nikki will focus on building its balance sheet and revenue. So on revenue, for example, I will tell us that the company for the year ended 2021, December 31st, the company crossed 10 million in revenue. And profitability-wise, the company will have no less than 1 million in net income for the year ended. And this is a company that has nothing at the beginning, like except for the $45,000 loan I gave to them. So it has gone a long way. We've gone a long way. We've identified opportunities and capitalized on them. And America have been good to us also because the environment was conducive for us to do what we did in Nevada with custodianships, and for us to be able to accumulate what we accumulated. So, but right now we are no longer in the phase of accumulating shells. We have passed that. We have enough shell now. But we're also not in a hurry to sell any shell. Like every day now, we field about 10 to 15 calls every day now from people that want shells. And the only struggling block is the fact that most of them don't want to sign the 2-year clause of no reverse split, no dilution. And as far as Alpha Ridge is concerned, Video River Network is concerned, if we can't get that commitment from a buyer, then we will not sell the shell. So it looks like sometimes we are slower than the other custodians in selling shares, even though we have more shares than any other custodian in America. We are kind of slow at selling because we don't want to betray our shareholders. Let me tell us the fact. Now, the money they offer is good. To sell a share for $450,000, how much did you spend in it? to sell a share for $300,000. How much do you spend on it? But people are offering those kind of amounts depending on how much market cap each share have. Because it's easy for them to just buy the share, raise the authorized shares, raise it to like 50 billion or 40 billion, and then take huge chunk of notes from toxic note holders. And then the note guys will then start shutting the companies, like right from there. And you know, I won't name them, but you know, a couple of those. And once you see big increase of AS, just like that from nowhere, know that they're about to take a note, or they've already taken note. I know that by experience, because it happened when we are doing custodianship. When when some certain companies contested, and then all of a sudden they doubled their authorized. So when we went to dig deep, we found out that they took notes. That same week that they increased the authorized, they took big notes. So we don't want to betray our shareholders. We will rather actually run the companies themselves than give it to super diluters or to those that will do harm to our shareholders. That's the bottom line. We are not greedy. Like I said, we made more than $1 million in the past year. So for a small company, a tiny company, a shell that have nothing, that's a huge achievement. So we know that if we do right by the shareholders and keep faith that Providence will provide for us, there will be opportunities in the future, and I will capitalize on them. So our job is to be agile, to be ready, to make ourselves available, to work hard, because we put in the hours. Hire the lawyers, hire the experts, hire the consultants to get the work done, but as well be ready for any opportunity that comes out there. So because we are not selling notes, we are not selling shares, we will be very, very opportunistic. Any opportunity that comes to the market, metaverse, cryptocurrency, NFT, electric vehicles, we are going to have a subsidiary addressing those opportunities. So I don't want folks emailing me and be like, are you not kind of jumpy, grabbing everything that come by? We are opportunistic. That's the answer. We are opportunistic. Whatever will make us money for the company, we are going to invest in those. We might not be the one running them. Most of our investments are run by other people, by other managers. But we are trying to learn from the established managers that run great companies in America. And we know how they do it. They don't have to be running the companies themselves, but they invest in great ideas, and they allow it to yield the dividends. So that's about it on the two companies. Now, on the custodianships, because I know most of us are like invested in one of our custodianship or another, we have 40 custodianships, and we have many of them still in expert market, and we have 40 subsidiaries. About 36 of them are custodianships, and many of them are still in expert market, and we are trying our best to bring them out of expert market. And today we almost filed one, but we could still file tomorrow or next tomorrow. We filed NWTT, and it didn't work out as we anticipated, so we are still going the other route. To Alpha Ridge, to Video River Networks, all the channels of getting our companies current and compliant are still open. We are friendly with OTC market staff. We are friendly with SEC staff. We are friendly with FINRA staff. So we've not stepped on any toe. We've not blocked anywhere. So we could always go to any one of these channels and get our stuff done. So we try to maintain a cordial relationship with authorities. We love America, and we love what they're doing, and we love the services they're putting in. And if there's any way we could help, we try to help. But we are not against anybody. We try to use whatever system is there. We want to take advantage of it and then benefit our shareholders. So all channels of getting current, of being in compliance, of keeping compliance are open to us, and we are utilizing all of them. So NWTT we used Form C, it didn't work. So we're going back to OTC market, and then we've paid the invoice, and maybe in a week or two, we're going to get access to file the same financials to OTC. And if we file it in a week or two, we're going to be Pink Limited, and then in another week or two or three, we're going to be Pink Current. So that's still open. And we still have the option of filing Form 10 if we want to, or S1. But we are taking it baby steps, one step at a time. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves. We want to take whatever is the easiest way to the solutions. That's what we're doing so far. So that is it. The other remaining tickers in the expert markets, we are working hard on getting those out of expert markets. But our main concern and focus right now, we have consultants working on the expert market tickers. Our main concern now is mergers and acquisitions, and we've identified a few, and we've actually closed some deals. We're going to start announcing maybe by tomorrow or next week, but we're going to prep well, and then we'll start announcing deals. Many of those deals, although Video River Network is the shepherd of those deals, Video River Networks is the payer of those transaction fees and acquisition fees. But those mergers and acquisitions might have to go into the subsidiaries or into the shells. Now, when we talk about the shells, our entrepreneurship development project is kind of slow in taking off. For example, the DRNG, the Drone Gather CEO resigned, and you notice that the website for blockchain multimedia went down. So those are little issues we're having with CIVX, with Drone Gather, and VNTH haven't taken off, even though it happened a while. So we have little issues in those ones. We're going to regig all of them. We're going to restructure our entrepreneurship development projects and regig all those subsidiaries. And then we want them to start performing. Start performing means it's simple as this. We give you the area you're going to look for acquisition, identify those acquisitions, and we make the purchase. And then you tuck it in and roll it up. And then you have financials, you have revenue, and then you repeat, you rinse and repeat, you rinse and repeat. We wanted to build revenue to each one of them, to build revenue, to be able to uplift to a better exchange. So we're going to give them that power. We're going to provide them the necessary tools to get it done. And Video River Networks is going to find a way to make it happen for them once we finish the restructure. So there are changes coming to the shells themselves. The ones that we acquired that are not non-custodial acquisitions, those are like the PIFR, those are like the VNTH, the DRNG, those are non-custodial. The LabWire, the Waypoints, those are non-custodial acquisitions. We bought them from the open market. The Guyana Gold, GYGC, we bought them. And let me take this opportunity to mention one that I normally don't mention, is NSPT, is Neural Sports. So NSPT, we bought it a while back. We are waiting for the custodianship to terminate before we assume full control. And until the termination, the custodianship terminates and we assume full control, we can't dictate what happened in NSPT. So I kind of skip talking about it because even though we bought it, it's ours, we are not in charge yet. So once we get fully in charge, then we're going to articulate our vision of what we think. I believe that's one of the best shells out there based on the accumulated deficits. NSPT have about $1.2 billion in accumulated deficits. The last time I checked, I might be wrong, but the last time I checked, I'm an accountant by training, so I know deficits when I see one. So the last time I checked, they have 1.2 billion accumulated deficits, and I like that. That's why I went to SSM Monopoly and then pay for it. It was steep, but it was worth it. We believed, Video River Networks believed that it could add value to what we are doing. Because if we are going to make lots of money in the future, we want to have a little help in preserving the value of those wealth that we plan on building. So that's about it on those non-custodial acquisitions. We are going to run them, and we're going to put value to them, and we're going to actually move them out of shell status. So going forward, once we start acquisitions now, we are going to actually make all our shells operating companies so that they're going to lose their shell status. How do we do that? We're going to use accounting standard 810 to do some real financial structuring, reporting structuring based on those rules on ACS 810. So going forward, one of the reasons why we call the meeting is to tell us that we are about to switch direction. We are no longer going to just be sitting and waiting for acquirers to come and acquire the shells. No, we are going to start assigning the shells to capable hands and then putting assets in the shells, rolling them up, while we are still open and going to entertain offers from every angle. We don't want to wait, because there's a rule that will come into play in 18 months. If a shell is if a shell remains a shell in 18 months, I think there's something that they said will happen to it. So we want to get out of the shell status. All our tickers will get out of the shell status once we implement this ASC 810 formula that we're going to implement. So that's basically what update we want to provide for us. Number one, Give Me Power sold Alpha Ridge Capital to Nikki. Number two, Nikki is going to hold its own subsidiaries and is going to have its own fintech and its own newer technology that come up. Is going to be opportunities and grab all those opportunities, not missing any, because our intention is to create value for shareholders by making more money, by making more profit, by pushing the revenue up. And don't forget, the year that just finished, we made more than 10 million in revenue, and we are more than 1 million in net profit. Have that at the back of your mind. And that's for a company that have nothing at the very beginning. So with those said, we are going to dive into the questions. The update is just simple as telling us that something big happened, and we're going to change direction. And each of the company, being alone, could still be friendly. So let's jump into question. We have lots of questions, and I will take them one at a time. We will going to break by 3, and then we will take like 10 minutes or 20 minutes break, and then we come back. But the specific questions, somebody was asking, what happened to PRDL? What about the merger? And what happened to the share reduction, share cancellation process in PRDL? And then the VNTH AS reduction. Let me address VNTH AS reduction. VNTH, we engaged the lawyer to do the share cancel, the AS reduction, and the lawyer haven't performed so far. We don't know what is going on. We are following up with the lawyer. We are still working to a lawyer and a consultant to get it done, because they have to. We want to cut the AS down from 100 billion to 4. The reason is we don't need 100 billion AS. People give this gigantic AS because they want to sell notes. I've read those notes. The note maker always require you to move your AS by 20 times, by 10 times before they will give you a note, because they want to reserve shares to convert ahead of time. And once they reserve those shares, the shareholders are in trouble. That company will never see any positive thing anymore. They might just keep flops around, but eventually they will crash and then do reverse split, because that's what normally happens. They do those, and then they dilute and dilute up to trips, up to like triple zeros and quadruple zeros, and then reverse split and then start all over. And then the shareholders are holding the bag. If you are born in a stock that have been reverse splitted, you know what I'm saying. It's by experience. I've been reverse plated upon, and my share just lost all the value. And I thought, oh, maybe because it was 1 penny and the reverse plated, and now it's $1. I'm like, okay, it's still the same. No, it's not. In 3 weeks, in 3 months, that $1 went back down to penny, the same place it used to be before they did the reverse plate. So I was like, it doesn't make sense. Somebody was getting paid, not the shareholder, not myself. So we knew it was gimmick, and we don't like it, and we don't permit it, and we were not going to permit it. We just, it's a principle. It might hurt our short-term goals of flipping all the shells and then making all the money, because if Nikki flipped all the shells at $300,000 each, think about it, 36 shells at $300,000 each, that's huge. But we don't want, we will not do it, because doing it and hurting the shareholder, the Bible says, what will it benefit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? I apologize for quoting the Bible, but that's our principle. We don't want to just make quick money today and then disappear tomorrow. We want to build something lasting, something that will benefit not just us, but our shareholders. We want to be proud of what we are building. So on VNTH, the shares outstanding, yes, must be reduced down to 4 billion. That's the instruction we give to the lawyers and the consultants, and they're working on it, but they're slow. They haven't performed. On PLDL, we finished the draft for the motion, because we don't want to do the, there are 2 ways to cancel shares. We want the most authoritative method, which was what happened yesterday with TMXN. TMXN yesterday, we filed, we canceled like half of the outstanding, but that was from a court order signed by the judge. If you take it to a TA, they honor it immediately and the share is gone. The same thing happened with ILIM. We want that pathway. So we've prepared the motion. It is there to be filed anytime. We switched lawyers because of that. There were too many delays in filing it since we submitted 3 months now. Nothing was done. So now we switched lawyers so that it's going to be filed more expeditiously. And we're going to be switching lawyers in many of those shares that we want to cancel the shares if the old lawyers won't be able to perform as we needed and on time. You know, lawyers are, they're highly respected and they have high value for their time. And sometimes they don't want to treat little cases like ours. It's like too little for them to, like, you know, devote their time. So that's why sometimes you have to make changes. Sometimes you have to play with them, beg, call, and follow up calls, stuff like that. So PLDL's reduction is on the way. No, share cancellation is on the way. Likewise, the merger candidates are waiting to get a clean shell that with the float reduce that drastically. So that's the question number 1 we treated. So this other guy wrote, his name is John. His question is a lot. He said that he wants to see what is happening with OCLG. OCLG is the same thing that happening to the rest of the tickers are happening to OCLG. Now, you have to realize that this past 2-3 months, the small cap market have been suffering tremendously. Just check the Russell 2000 or any other small cap tracker or index, you know. So I'm not making an excuse because I don't really control the price of shares, but I classify the OTC market as the lowest of the small caps. So if the small caps market is not doing well, and the OTC market is not doing well, I view them from an economist standpoint that it could be related. It could be an economic turn, or it could be related to what is happening in the economy. So that's what I think. I can't dictate the price of shares. No, I don't even control the price of shares. I could control the quantity of shares that is there by using share cancellation and issuances. So the second question is NWTT, ILIM, DVFI. Those are part of the big 4. The first one of them, ICNM, have gone through and is being current. NWTT, we've done our first chart. It didn't work. We are going through the other doors. And we are actually successful partially because we've gotten the invoice and we've paid for the invoice. And once we submit the noble list now, we're going to get access after the noble list is submitted. So you do more now than before, but it's okay. We have the hours. We put in the hours and do the work. So NWTT will still be brought pin current. ILIM will be brought pin current. BVFI, all this will become pin current. And then there are other ones that are there, like the UWSF and ITRX. So they are coming, and the experts, the consultants are working on those, and they will get those done. And then someone was asking about DRNG. Is there a share reduction in work? Now, I want to explain to us about share reduction. Now, when you have a shell and that share have lots of restricted, there is ground for share reduction. But once the shares are actually with DTCC, to reduce those is playing with fire. So normally we don't go after those. We don't go after what is difficult. We look at what is easy. Now, some people think that share cancellation is difficult. We think it's easy because all we need to do is hire a lawyer, identify the case, identify the time of issuance, identify the reason for issuance, and then hand over everything to the lawyer. And then they file the stuff and we'll be patient. In 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, it will be done. That's how we operate. Now, to cancel free trading shares, we don't think we will have time or the resources to pursue that. So DRNG, most of the shares there were done by diluters that converted. So they send their shares to DTCC direct. I can't touch it. So I don't think there will be share cancellation on DRNG unless those shares are restricted. So when we come through those ones and find restricted shares like we did on LabWire, you saw LabWire, we filed a motion to cancel 120 million shares. We found those shares and we investigated the circumstances surrounding their issuance. We were not satisfied by those circumstances. So we want to take it to the court to do what they do best, which is decide. So DRNG, if we find restricted shares that were improperly issued, we are going to court to get them cancelled. On CIVX, he asks about the Twitter going down. The Twitter went down, it was deleted on purpose so that we're going to do a new one. We want to restructure our entrepreneurship development project so that it's more functional, it's focused on acquisition. We don't want fluffs. We don't want like 50 tweets a week and then nothing to show up. So we want one tweet, one acquisition. That's our ideal environment. We want acquisitions, 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 so that you build revenue, you build financials. And then so that's why we pull down, we allowed the tweet to be deleted, and then we're going to restructure and we're going to make some changes, real changes in those projects. Now, on NSPT, I've just made the comment about it. I will not go further than that. Once the custodianship is terminated, then we could do some things about NSPT. So, John, we thank you for your questions, sir, and we've answered what we could answer about them. Now, on someone, Nick, is asking about FCGD. And so an FCGD, that's a very big shell and have like lots of shareholders, but we love that shell also. On FCGD, we are going to finish the cleanup and then terminate custodianship, and either we sell it before then to someone that agree to no reverse plate and no dilution and no shifting of AS to 100 billion, because we have to add another clause to make it a third clause. So we have one clause, no reverse plate, no dilution. We're going to add a third clause, no dramatic increase of AS. So you have to run the AS by us. Tell us, what do you want AS to be? We're going to change it even before we give you the shell. But you're not going to take our shell and tomorrow you increase it by 50 billion or 10 billion. No. So that's it about FCGD. There won't be any reverse plate or dilution. Even though those big shells with a lot of shareholders, with a lot of shares, If you don't reverse split, it's kind of difficult to run. But we've seen those big ones that run. So the issue is to get the right person with the right business acumen, and boom, it will take off. So we are not accommodating or open to reverse splits or dilution or drastic increase of AS on our shares. No. We think it's detrimental to shareholder value, and we are sticking to that. So the next one, someone was asking us, when do we plan on having future shareholder meetings? Let's finish the one we're having right now. Then as time goes on, if we have any big development, we have to call a special meeting. But we're going to keep shareholders updated via Twitter, via press releases. We don't do PR a lot. Our shareholders want us to do it a lot, but we try to do it when we have real events. We don't want fluffs. We don't want to just be tweeting for tweeting's sake. We want to tweet when we have something to tweet about. We want to announce news when we have real news. We don't want just to be making things up. No. So someone was asking about JPEX and ILST. So on JPEX and ILST, JPEX have been sold, I told us, to VMost. So VMost is the owner of JPEX now, and they're trying to, once we terminate custodianship, they will do the FINRA stuff and then merge. The merger will be. ILST also have been sold. You know the CEO. So the CEO now is Karen, and I believe she could answer those questions. The reason why I still entertain questions on this is because, you know, as a newbie, I have to, you know, I have to be nice on all ground. I have to be friendly on all ground until I found my way. But basically, I have to take permission from JPEX, from the merger company, to discuss JPEX and ILST. But the merger companies are the current owner of JPEX and ILST, and are responsible for the news or no news on those stickers. And what I know is that they signed the non-dilution and no reverse split clauses, and that was what I required from them. Somebody was saying maybe I should add another clause to require them to have a Twitter account before we sell the shares to them. We don't want to overburden a buyer, but we want something that is actually tangible to protect shareholders. So JPEX and ILST have been sold. You know the CEOs, the current CEOs, and they will handle it until the merger company completes the merger process. Thank you for that question. Your name is Blake. Thank you so much. And then we're going to Manuel. Manuel, you're asking the same question we've answered about OCLG. OCLG is one of our favorite shell, like everybody know, and we're going to do right by OCLG. We're going to keep it going. And I said, going forward, we're going to start talking business, rolling businesses into those shells. Going forward, it's important now because we want to move them out of shell status into operating company status. That's very important. So that's it. And then someone was asking about, Wendy was asking about ICNM. ICNM is actually one of the most loved stock, I noticed. So I don't know. We have offers for ICNM right now. We have offers for ICNM, and they just told us to be patient, and they will do right. They agreed on the clauses we give them, and they said they're going to just take it like that and then run. I don't know. What happened is until we have definite agreement, offer is an offer. It's not an agreement. So we have not sold ICNM yet, but we have offer on the table. And we're considering it, and we're waiting for them to come by, and they've agreed to our terms. We have offers on so many of the shells, but so many of the buyers don't want to agree to our terms. And if you don't agree to our terms, then no deal. Then Daniel is asking about NWTT, the schedule, the update. We don't have a schedule for the update now. The NWTT is at OTCM. We give them, they requested us to give the NOBO list. We give them we are going to get the Noble list by next week. Once they get the Noble list, they will give us access to upload financials, and we're going to upload financials. And if we do that, it's going to be pink limited and then pink current. So it's processes. It takes time, but we beg for your patience, please. And we know that we're going to get there. It might take a while, but we're going to get there for sure. So we've done DRNG update, we've done CIVS update, and then Nikki update. Nikki have lots of updates, like our crypto coin is still waiting, and we are preparing our S1 for it. And the EV is still there. We are working towards the certification to get it road ready for US roads. You can't just bring a car from China and start driving it in America. It doesn't happen that way. We brought it to prove the concept, and we are working to get it ready, road ready. That's it. And I think this year, once we're able to secure a nice place for it, we're going to display it somewhere and invite shareholders to come and see them. We have 3 already here in California, in Torrance here. So, but where we are storing them right now is not conducive for public visit. That's why we have not invited shareholders. So once we get a better facility, then we're going to invite shareholders to come and take a look and touch it, because some guys want to touch it, feel it, and see if it's actually a real vehicle. Yes, it is real, electric vehicle, and it drove. You've seen the pictures. And then someone was talking about the attacks and what happened, how the bashers are bashing our tickers. Now I want to address the issue of bashers. If you are invested in Alpha Rich Capital's shell or custodianship, you already know what you know. You know, I will tell you the truth upfront, whether it's favorable or unfavorable. Now, forget about what the bashers are saying. They could say anything. They make up things, we know, and they say things, you know. But the question is, go and check which custodian worked harder, put in longer hours to get things done than Alpha Rich Capital. Which one in America? None. And so we could stand our ground and compete. We could stand toe-to-toe to any other custodian that will work longer hours. We hire more lawyers. We have more petitions filed than any other custodian, even though we are just in the business for the past 7 months. So we are doing our best to be a great company, and the bashers could bash. That's their business. What we know is that our result will speak. So remember, about a few months ago, somebody was saying that it's impossible to just cancel shares with a court order. And guess what? We cancel shares with a court order. This is the second time we are doing it, 2 times in a row. And we're going to cancel it again 3 times. LabWire is going to be canceled. And we're going to keep doing it until we clean all the shares. So bashers have the right to say what they want, to publish opinion as facts. Those are opinions, they are personal opinions. And because everybody's work ethic is not the same. Our work ethic, my work ethic is different than your work ethic. Check Elon Musk. I was watching one of his videos one day, and he said he worked 16 hours a day, 14 hours a day, Monday through Saturday. And my wife told me, you can't do that. I was like, I want to be like him. My wife said, no. So there's no way I could work as hard as Elon Musk. No. But am I going to compare my output to his output if he worked 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, and then putting in 12 or 10, 5 days a week? No. So Alpha Rich Capital pride itself on working the hours, putting in the work, getting things done, going through whatever option is available to get things done. And that is for ourselves and for our shareholders. So if you watch what happened, how many custodians have we been able to bring pink current? And how many have we been able to bring out of expert market? We're going to still keep bringing them out of expert market. We kind of took some break because we delegated it to the consultants. But right now, at least the big 4, we're going to just focus and get the big 4 out. And then the other ones, the consultants will keep working on them. And as we move into acquisitions now, we are going to see how things will change drastically, because we are going to acquire and acquire and acquire. We're going to roll up businesses. And because even though Nikki is the financier, Nikki is the mothership, all the acquisitions will not be in Nikki. They will go through those shells to make them operating companies. They might still have to report up to Nikki, but that's the bottom line. So the bashers could bash, we will perform. So our performance, just always put our performance and then compare it with that of the bashers. That's all. We don't have the right to deprive bashers of the right to bash. No, it's the fundamental human right to bash. But it's our own right also to perform. So we're going to perform and perform. And this year, last year, we made more than $1 million in net profit. This year, we might make 2, we might make 3. You never know. So we are not projecting. We just know that we keep working hard, taking advantage of opportunities, and then whatever happens. We thank God we live in America, and we know all the opportunities in America. We could make money whether the market is going up or coming down. That's how America operates. So we love it. We keep working hard, and we believe that our shareholders will benefit maximally based on what we're doing. We have a question on CDBT. CDBT, we have joint custodianship with another custodian. And so the process there required the agreement of 2 people. And we have 50% voting powers on CDBT. So basically, the custodian is more experienced than us, than we are. So we want him to take the lead in identifying the merger candidate and then closing the deal and cutting a check for us. We've done the main cleanup from the ground. We've brought it pin current. Now we want the experienced hand to get us a merger for CDBT and then cut us a check. But still, our principle applies that they're not going to reverse split and they're not going to kill our shareholders. No, they're going to do right by our shareholders. That's part of our agreement. So CDBT is there, it's joint custodianship, and it's working. ILST we've addressed already, OCLG we've addressed already, and we think that everything is going well. MNDP, Mondus, everything is going well. So you're going to feel those shells better once we start talking mergers into them, because like I said, we are not going to keep waiting and fold our hands for things for the merger candidate to just come and buy. If they don't want to close the deal right now, we're going to start talking businesses into our shell, and it will make the shell more attractive and then also more expensive. So we are going to work on those and then keep moving. Now, JPEX, Mondus, OCLG, CIVX, those are like those shells with about 2 billion shares outstanding. Between 1 billion and 2 billion, they are the most popular shells we have because I think they're more liquid. And the buyers actually love those because they like liquidity and they like to be able to use the shell to, raise some capital in the future or even right now, but not dilute or reverse split. So those ones are highly sought after. We don't want to betray our shareholders. That's why we haven't given them up. We have cash offers coming every day. We have equity offers coming every day. But the problem is, unless you have genuine business and you intend to run a business, what is 2 years? Just 24 months. Please give us 24 months in this marriage. Let's test it, test us. If we don't like each other, we'll divorce. So within that 24 months, the shareholders could then decide whether this guy is a good actor or not. And you could sell your shares if you don't like the guy. And then they could buy back the shares from you if they don't like you. But after 2 years, if you want to reverse split, go ahead. If you want to dilute, go ahead. But by then, the shareholders have learned about you, and you have learned about the shareholders. And if you like the marriage, you continue. If you don't like, you split and move on. So we don't think that we are being stubborn. We just think that we know what's right when we see one. And buying our share and hiking the AS overnight, that's not good. We don't like it. Or buying our shares and reverse splitting and throwing the shareholders under the bus. No, we will not allow that in our shares. So that's basically it on those questions. Now, somebody was asking us, when do we plan on uplisting on the NASDAQ? That's the big question. Okay, we were approached by an investment banker to work and help us uplist. It was 2 months ago. They offered services for shares, but we were negotiating the quantity of shares for the services. And some important shareholders believe that it's better for us to just calm down and review those proposals further. So we are reviewing the proposals. We don't want to rush and have an accident or stumble. We want to be careful. We want to build our business. So it's not like we are in need of money. Like we have a call. We fielded a call yesterday with investment bankers. They want to give us notes. They want to buy shares on Nikki. We told them, Nikki, for now, last year we said we are not going to issue new shares on Nikki, and we did not issue new shares. Actually, we bought back shares last year. This year, we've not decided what to do, whether we'll issue new shares or not. But I think we're going to continue buying back shares this year. That's one thing I know for sure. Now, if there's someone that just walked in from the moon and then wanted Nikki and then wanted some shares in order to take Nikki to the moon, we're going to oblige. Our shares are for sale. If like Tesla wants Nikki tomorrow, we're going to sell it to Nikki, to Tesla. So we are not, even though we love our companies, all our companies are for sale. If you're in the stock market, you are for sale. If a great guy come and we were approached by a auto manufacturer in Europe. They do classic cars. The reason why we didn't do a deal for Nikki itself and this company was because their terms, they want too much shares and they don't want to guarantee no dilution and no reverse split. So we want to give them certain quantity of shares and then it's locked up. You can't change it for now, for like say 5 years, 10 years, just go and make profit with your business and then use Nikki as a vehicle to do something better. So we offered it, we didn't go as we thought, so we just left it alone. So Nikki, even though it's growing, it's profitable, it have like huge assets, it have like 10 million in revenue. If we got a good offer from an investment banker or from a great company that we know their address, we know their product, we are going to entertain those offers. So we know the pathway to NASDAQ. We are going to try our best to build ourselves towards that. Part of the reason why we buy back our stock is because we don't want to do a reverse split to go to NASDAQ. So we believe along the way, if we make good money and buy up the shares, it's going to shrink enough to take us to NASDAQ. So the share buyback continues. That's the bottom line. And still no dilution and no reverse split on Nikki, on Give Me Power, and on any of our shares. No dilutions, no reverse splits. We only dilute in order to pay for professional services that are reasonable. We only allow dilution to hire experts, dilutions to hire skills, not just to dilute because we wanted to, like the CFO want to sell shares every week, no. Or the CEO want to sell shares every month, no. I've not sold, I'm buying. And lots of other people that are close to me are buying. We believe in the vision. We think that the company will be profitable and continue to be profitable, and along the line, things will work out well. So the road to NASDAQ is still open to Nikki and Give Me Power, and each of our shares, like there are those tiny, low floats in our shares. They have about 12 of them. We're going to actually do something beautiful with those. That's why I don't discuss them much. If you observe, you see we discuss mainly the 1 billion and up, and then those are what we focus on because those are popular. But the less than 1 billion, we normally don't talk about those. Why? Because we have a plan for those. But whoever is in those must be patient because we need to acquire companies, acquire businesses, and roll into those before you could do anything that is fantastic. So that's about it. On GYGC, we just bought the shell, and we are working to cancel the shares. We used, but the previous custodian used board resolution that was approved by the court to cancel the shares. It haven't worked yet. We're trying to redo it and get the TA to accept it and cancel shares. So if that doesn't work, then we'll have to go to this our simple method of court motion. Just file the motion and ask the judge to decide whether they were properly issued or not. So that's it on GIGC. And on the big one, I want to address PRDL again, NOUV, FCGD, and ICNM. ICNM have a buyer already, but we've not agreed on terms yet. But NOUV, we still have to cancel the shares. I think they could file it next week. So those ones that have share cancellations coming, the potential buyers want to get those cancellations done before executing an agreement. So those are what is standing in the way of those ones. But still, it doesn't stop us from starting to put assets into them going forward so that they're going to move out of share status into operating company. Now, Ramdi asked about ITRX, NHLG, and APWL. APWL actually have an operation already that we talked into it. So that one is not for sale. APWL is not for sale. So that will have an operation that is about to be tucked into it, and it's about to take off. So that's a done deal. We're going to appoint a new VP for it to take the REN and then run, and then find roll-ups and then tuck them in and then roll them up and roll them up. We don't know where to go to, but that one is not for sale. NHLG, we have a little issue. The TA reported 25 million outstanding, and we use it to go to OTC and we get everything current. Then we are making discussion, you know, potential buyers are evaluating all the tickers. So the potential buyers asked for Noble List. We ordered Noble List. When it arrived and we opened it, behold, about 145 million shares was on the Noble List, but they were not on the TA. So now I have to add that 145 plus 25. That gives you 170 million altogether. So now the company have 170 million outstanding. And the trick there, the problem there is like the company is only authorized to issue 100 million. So why do they give issue 170 million? I don't know. I don't know the answer. Although we're going to rectify it, we're going to go to the state and then increase the AS to rectify it. But I didn't like it. No wonder they were actually dissolved before we won the custodianship. We picked two custodianship from dissolved, not permanently revoked, dissolved. Those are NWTT and NHLG. Those one we just tried to see if it works, and it worked. Those are our two dissolved, and we got them late, but there must have been a purpose why they were dissolved. So the share structure will be very different once we finish all the updates and restructuring. So on that one, we have to see what happens. ITRX, we're waiting for OTC to turn it pink current. It's pink limited for like the longest time now. I don't know what's happening, but they'll get to it. I love them. They're working hard to help us. So we'll get to it, we believe. And that's about it for Randy. And Randy have a question about filing Form 211 because many of the shares needed Form 211. It's not only our shares that need Form 211. Any share that have any little skip from that September 28th, we require Form 211. Even some shares, PIFR, wasn't late, didn't do anything, but they need Fund 211. So Fund 211, we are waiting for someone to brace the pathway, for someone to do it and get it successfully done, and then we're just going to follow them. So we don't want to be the pace setter on 211, no. We don't want to be the first in line on 211, no. We want someone else to start doing it and they want to join. So, but it doesn't stop our stock from trading. It's just that the brokers quoting it are less than the normal standard, but it's not a big issue right now. It's not pressing issue right now. Once somebody pave the pathway, we're going to hire consultants to start filing them for us. That's about it on that. And then someone was asking, why do I tag VNTH on Metaverse? Yes. So some people don't understand Metaverse. Metaverse is just gaming. If you played games before, you know that as a gamer, you have your avatar playing with your friend's avatar in the Metaverse. That's Metaverse. Now they want to promote it to make it become big, which is great. So we're already in it, and we are not going to run away from it. We are going to embrace it. So VNTH, we embrace Metaverse because VNTH is in gaming, and gaming is about Metaverse. That's it. So we are buying. Nikki itself want to be a landlord of Metaverse, so we are buying properties there. Our intention is to buy property in Metaverse, rent them out, make money, and also buy businesses. Nikki is more interested in buying properties in Metaverse, one, and buying businesses that involve in Metaverse, two, and then gaming that are involved in Metaverse. There is this acquisition that we are discussing. It's based in India. These guys are based in India. They're trying to merge their Metaverse plus fitness. So it's a fitness, it's a treadmill, but you'll be running, and then the screen will be showing you running, your avatar running in something like Boston Marathon or New York Marathon. So something like that. So it encourages folks that are doing workout on the treadmill to run more. It's no longer boring. So that's their goal. We intend to invest in that. We just negotiate the terms now, but that's like a huge Metaverse joining fitness. So it's Peloton to the Metaverse. That's basically it. We will be investing in it. We've gotten an offer, and we are evaluating it. Once we agree on it, Nikki basically will be holding the stake, but it will be awesome. So we are going to make acquisitions both in America and outside America. So we're going to make acquisitions in China, in India, in Lithuania, in Poland. We're going to just be open, because if you're open to cryptocurrency and fintech, you must be open to those countries, because they have easier means of building the crypto empire, of building Metaverse, of building these ones than us here. Why? Because they don't have the kind of restrictions that we have here. Some of them have the support of their governments, so they have it easier. So our job is to identify profitable. We want to, those that are yielding money right now, making money right now, profitable. Then want to invest, get a stake, a control stake, so that it could be consolidated into our financials. So that's about it. We mentioned VNTH with Metaverse because that's what they're into. They're into gaming. If you're into gaming, modern gaming, you are into Metaverse. You have to have roadblocks if you are in gaming. So that's the bottom line. OCLG and MNDP, we've discussed that, and we think that the rich husbands are coming. But we don't want to waste our time not doing things. We don't want to sit still and wait forever. No, we want to start doing things for these shells while we are waiting for them to agree to our terms. That's basically it on that. And thank you, Cole, for the question. So the other part is the next question comes from someone asking me about vMost and JPEGs. The name is Chuck. I will not be able to answer question about VMOS and JPEX. I will let the VMOS guys answer the question. They're doing a great job. So remember, VMOS is actually a profitable company that have revenue in OTC. Think about it. A profitable company that have revenue, more than 5 million in revenue, and is profitable. And they have more than 75 million in contracts. I don't talk about the potential of VMOS because I don't need to even, it's there. It's there. Someone have done the DD for us, and then I look at it, I'm like, wow, that's great. But I will tell you, take it to the bank. This is the best merger ever on OTC. A profitable company that is not buying the shell to go and raise capital, not unlike what is happening of recent, where somebody will buy a shell and then promise not to reverse plate and then reverse plated, and then since the reverse plate thing is going down the hill. No. VMOS guys are not buying JPEGs in order to enrich themselves. They're already rich. They're not buying JPEGs in order to raise capital. No, they don't have need of that. They have contracts. They're buying it in order to accentuate what they're already doing, because JPEGs give them a step to further their business vision and to get to where they're planning on going to. So I see JPEGs and VMOS being like somewhere higher and better very soon. But I don't see why people will just be bashing VMOS for nothing. No, the business is standing, the business is profitable. They don't need JPEGs actually to raise capital. They need JPEGs because it's a public vehicle. The importance of a public vehicle is it gives you currency. And that currency, you can use to negotiate deals. You can use it to like get into doors that you couldn't have gotten into as a private company. That's the benefit of JPEGs to VMOS. And that's what they appreciate. They want, once we finish everything and they clean, and they could go to QB, and then before you know it, they could even go to NASDAQ or go to other exchanges. But the thing is, they have the pathway to that, and they have the cash to fund it, and they don't have to dilute. They don't have to reverse plate. They don't have to dilute. So think about it. What other OTC company have ever gotten this kind of merger? So that's kind of merger we want for all our shares. A merger that have revenue and is profitable and that doesn't need the vehicle to raise capital. No, you need a vehicle to open better doors as a currency to do bigger acquisitions, not to just everybody will be converting their shares and selling every week and diluting up till the shareholders are like left holding the bag. No. So that merger stands out on its own, bar none. If you have different opinion, send it to me. Send it to my email. If you think what I said is not accurate, give me alternative argument of a better, not a company. Don't tell me that you have a company in China or in Mongolia that is doing this and that. No, this is a company in America that is subject to American rules and American GAAP. And so it's different. Do you know the reason why sometimes investment managers are not comfortable with Chinese companies, financials, most of the time? Remember the guys that Luckin Coffee, right? They were competing with Starbucks, right? And you remember what happened with their financials? They could cut their financials and get it approved because it's not subject to US GAAP. So when you find a company subject to US GAAP that is revenue positive and that is profitable and that is doing things in America and they are being subject to the highest standard of accounting, it's bang on. It's not comparable. So VMOS is VMOS, and they are great. And JPEX is one of the best shell out there because they have VMOS. I won't say much more than that. And we plan that all our shells will have that kind of merger going forward. That's our hope, and that's what we are working towards. So that's basically it. I think we are going to entertain a few more questions, and then we are going to go for break and come back. So some of those questions have to deal with what are our processes of choosing a merger candidates. So The merger candidates come to us. We don't go to them. So although we put in fillers out there, here and there, that we have good shells for in business circles. I'm an attorney by practice. So when I go to attorney get together, I have to tell them that we have I have shells that will help their businesses if they have clients that are looking to go public. So I have great shells that will fit into what they're doing. I'm also a CPA by profession. So if I go to CPA gatherings, CPA societies, tell them we have this and we have that. And if you guys have any clients that is looking to go public, this is the easiest way for you guys to just buy these shares and tuck the business in, and then consolidate the financials and then do the reporting. So I put out fillers like that. We put out fillers like that. My staff also put out fillers like that. But it doesn't mean that we could go and force somebody to come and buy the shares. No. However, every day, every given moment, we have people that come to us. Today, we fielded more than 6 calls already before now about shares. And we discussed it. For example, somebody called us on FCGD, and his concern is like we won't, he won't take the condition of no reverse play for 2 years. Why not? I'm like, then your intention of purchasing the share might be suspect to my shareholders. If you're not willing to just sign on the dotted line that no reverse plate, no dilution for 2 years, they're like, no, we just don't want any condition. We just want a free share. We just buy it. So that's their view. But our view is different. Our view is that give us time to evaluate this relationship. If it works, we keep it. If it doesn't work, we sell our shares and move on. So the process goes this way. They call, we give them price. The price is never a stumbling block. It's never a deal breaker for us, because we are also shareholders in those shares. So if the price doesn't work in cash, we could do equity. We could do equity deals. We could calculate the price, take it in equity, and then so long as we don't reverse plate, we'll be able to sell our equity, or we keep it. If we are great, we keep it and we enjoy the ride with you. If you're not great, we go out, we sell and move on. So price is not a deal breaker for us, no. But are we going to just throw away our shares? No. We're going to use them. We are going to capitalize them. We are going to roll up businesses into those shares and then make them great and then run them. So that's the bottom line. And if any of them is able to go to NASDAQ, great. If they don't, that's what it is. OTC is fantastic, actually. So NASDAQ is great. We aspire to be there, but until you're there, you are not there. So we will just be grateful for where we are at, and we'll do our best to get the best for our shareholders. So that's basically it for now. I think we're going to go on break, and then we're going to come back in about 15-20 minutes. I thank you for your attention, for your time right now. We've discussed most of the major issues. All we're going to do now is keep on going through the questions and answering them. We promise to answer all questions submitted up to 11:59 last night. And we're going to do that. And if we don't answer your questions, please send us a quick email right now. And then we're going to pull up that question and still answer it. Our job is to keep you informed about every step we are taking, unless it's business secrets. There are some steps we will not reveal at the conference call. There are some things we will not be saying in public, because then our competition will pick it up, and then we'll start doing the same thing, and then it will be crowded. We'll be crowded out of it. So, and very, very important, if you have any business idea that you think could get into any shell, please email that to us. It's super important. I will not tell you again about the story about how we get the skull and bone of Nikki. It was a shareholder that called and be like, Frank, There's this guy, he's connected with OTC. He could get the skull and bone off Nikki and give me power. I'm like, who is the guy? He says his name is GS. I'm like, they gave me his number, a shareholder. So I call him. He's like, okay, let me review you. Let me see if you're someone of integrity. I said, okay. I submitted everything. He went through my SEC filings and then see that we have S1, we have everything. And afterwards, he's like, okay, you pay me 40,000. I'm like, 40,000? He said, yes. I dragged it for a week and the shareholders came back and be like, Frank, you must do this. So we paid 40,000 cash. And guess what? The skull and bone fell off. And we thought it was easy. We thought we could do the same thing for Give Me Power by ourselves. And we've been dragged along since then on Give Me Power. And although right now it's easier because we've cleared almost all the issues except one with Give Me Power. So once we clear that last issue, the skull and bone we fell off. So, but we are open to shareholders' contribution. The best ideas we had so far come from our shareholders because they told us, they gave us the idea of what to do. They introduced us to a new business. They told us to buy this and we did. And they told us to do this and we did. Some of the shares we buy, many of the shares we bought, they were suggested to us by shareholders telling us, okay, this is revoked or permanently revoked. Petition for it. And we did. And we won. So we depend on shareholders a lot. And that's why we don't want to offend them. We don't want to let them hold the bag. We don't want to throw them under the bus. No, because it's a partnership. The shareholders are interested in what we are doing. We are interested in building shareholder value. So please, if you have any suggestion or any idea or any business that you think is profitable that we could buy, we have the money and we have stock also. So we do, and we don't have to buy the complete business. We just need 51% of any business for us to consolidate. So thank you so much. Let's take a break and we get back, but bear in mind that we need your help to be able to be successful. We need, if you run across any idea, anything, please get it to us so that we're going to, keep building our work together. Thank you.
Recording stopped.